Jim Kopp, and I'm the Director of Diocesan Accounts for the Cathedral Corporation.
Excellent. So what's the biggest challenge you're seeing among your client base when it comes to these new marketing efforts?
Elizabeth, what we're seeing, it's really interesting, is that there is a change in the not-for-profit environment. It's really gotten very intensive in the last 10 years. We're seeing an explosive growth of not-for-profit entities that are really enhancing the competition for the philanthropic dollar. And what many of these, especially younger not-for-profits, are doing is deploying some very entrepreneurial and some very aggressive cross-media applications to secure those philanthropic dollars. And many of the older not-for-profits, those that are more mature, are having difficulty shifting from single-channel communication programs like direct mail to more multi-channel and multimedia solicitation programs.
And how are you kind of evangelizing the benefits of some of those and getting people to change their minds?
It's really hard to argue with the data. It's really hard to argue with the data. But you can put out as much information as you want, but ultimately what the not-for-profit has to understand is they have to be comfortable branching out and trying new things, okay? And to show them really that with the risk, there's really no downside to it. There's only a potential reward. So if they have a group of lapsed donors that they've been sending letters to for 10 years and have never gotten a response, showing them that, laying that out and saying, what you're doing isn't working, so let's try something else. And if it's cheaper than their old solution, that helps too.
So data's playing a more important role?
Data is essential, and what's a challenge in many of the older not-for-profits is that they have not been really strong in their management of the data, and therefore their ability to segment that data is really compromised. So really it all starts at what's in the data. If their database is strong, if they've managed it appropriately, then we can work with them really clearly to segment that and to develop segment-based messaging that's going to get a response.
So what's the future hold? What's the next step? What do you think?
I wrestle with this, but I think the market is expanding so quickly and the technology platforms are expanding so quickly. I really think the direct marketing industry needs to stop and to take a breath. Every innovation necessarily isn't a good innovation. I was walking around, and right now what's really big in the not-for-profit is sending solicitations through somebody's cell phone as a text message. I can't imagine wanting to get something like that, but that's illustrative of the fact that the technologies are changing rapidly and everybody's jumping on board. I think the industry needs to take a collective breath and kind of look at what are the real values of some of these new technology platforms.